A solemn procession of law enforcement officers in Grand Forks as they mourn the loss of one of their own. Now on the Valley today, the latest on the deadly shooting of a Grand Forks police officer. We have team coverage this morning, including a live report from Grand Forks as we hear more this morning about the man accused.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is the Valley Today.
Remember, it is not how this officer died, it is how this officer lived that made him a true hero.
Grand Forks Police Headquarters go blue overnight in honor of a fallen hero who wears their uniform. We're following breaking news out of the Northern Valley this morning after a police officer was killed and a county deputy was wounded during what started out as a routine assignment. Police from several agencies around Grand Forks swarmed a Southside neighborhood yesterday afternoon after calls of shots fired and then an officer down. Live on the scene with the latest details this morning is the Valley Today's Abby Furchner. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning, Lisa. I am outside of All True Hospital in Grand Forks, where both of those officers were transported to after last night's shooting. We have learned that one of the officers is still here at the hospital, but he is in stable condition. He is still just being treated for those injuries. However, we did learn that one of the Grand Forks officers did pass away last night. But this is what we know so far of the events that took place last night. It started with two county deputies serving eviction papers at 2627 South 17th Street here in Grand Forks. Police say 41-year-old Salama Pendleton opened fire on the deputies who called for backup. Grand Forks police officers arrived and they all made their way into the apartment. During an exchange of gunfire, 4 people were hit during that time. A woman died inside of the apartment, and that's when 2 officers were also injured, as was Pendleton, the suspected shooter. We do believe that the suspect is still here being treated for those injuries. We do not know of his condition at this time, but we do know that his injuries were related to those gunshot wounds or those shooting injuries. But you can definitely tell already just being outside of the hospital that it is a heavy presence here. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this breaking news.
I know we're going to find out a lot more information as the morning goes on. Abby Furchner reporting live on this breaking story. Thank you so much for the update. As Abby mentioned, this is an ongoing investigation, and Grand Forks police are asking for any information that might help them with their case. There are a number of ways you can do that. You can call them at 701-787-8000. You can also submit a tip on the Grand Forks Police Department's Facebook page or on their website, grandforksgov.com. You can also use the Tip 411 app. It's now 4:34. Let's get a check of that First Alert Storm Team forecast after a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. What can we expect today?
It was a warm one yesterday. We saw temperatures soaring in the Southern Valley especially, but even in the north, we saw some 80s as well. Fargo definitely was the warm spot here in the Red River Valley at 86 degrees, finally seeing 80 for the first time since last September. Grand Forks as well also hit 80 for the first time as well there at 81 degrees. So a warm one, a beautiful day yesterday here in the valley. And conditions, well, we're cooling things down here for us for the rest of the week this week. So we're looking at temperatures that are going to be slightly cooler this morning in some areas. You can see where we're still hanging on to that warmer air. We're at 61 in Fergus Falls and in Sisseton, but check out by Howlock and Langdon and Baudette. We're at 48. It's 46 in Foston. So slightly cooler, still doing just fine temperature-wise. Our winds are light in the east out to the west, a couple of wind gusts or speeds into the teens out of the west. So we've had a cold front move through. It's had a couple of sprinkles or a light shower with it too. You could see the line, that broken line of rain and cloud cover that's impacting places like Wadena County, now southeastern parts of Otter Tail County, and that will be moving on here this morning. And we'll end up with lots of sunshine for the start of your day. This is in your hour-by-hour planner starting at 7 a.m. this morning. We've got sunny skies and then more clouds up to the north as we head into the afternoon with some stronger wind gusts as well. And that colder air, notice the direction coming in out of the northwest, blasting in some cooler air for us. That's going to keep our temperatures lower today. We're looking at 60s, maybe a 70 here and there in the south, and even colder up along the Canadian border where we may also see a few sprinkles there too. As we continue on into the evening hours, those clouds continue on to the south and east. Again, can't rule out a sprinkle in some of those spots. And as we take a look further into your day tomorrow morning, expect temperatures to be cooler than this morning. So we'll be into the 40s to start off your Friday morning. Heading into the rest of the day, expect temperatures to be very cool ahead for your Friday. We're looking at some numbers into the 50s to some 60s, and that is it. So that's going to be a bit of a shock to the system the next couple of days after this warm up that we've had. No major threat for rain, though. You know, we have a couple of those clouds producing a brief, very light shower or sprinkle, but overall looking to be quite just quiet here with some wind, of course, as we've been talking about. Look at your temperatures again today, about 70 in Fargo. Most of us spending the day in the 60s. We cool down for Friday. Saturday, we try to make a turnaround, and we do. By Sunday, we're back into the 70s, and then we're warming right back up into next week. More opportunities at some 80s coming up. So some ups and downs here in the forecast, and we're about to take that dip here starting today.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Breaking news this morning coming out of Minneapolis. Police say one person was shot to death in the midst of last night's violent and chaotic protests over the death of George Floyd. He's the Minneapolis man who died after a police officer knelt on his neck for several minutes. Police were dispatched on a report of a possible stabbing right around 9:30 last night. And when they arrived, they found a man on the sidewalk suffering from a gunshot wound. He later died at the hospital. One person is in custody. What led up to this fatal encounter is still under investigation. Hours earlier, tear gas, flames, and smoke filled the streets surrounding the Minneapolis Police 3rd Precinct. Protesters set several fires, including inside an AutoZone store. The St. Paul Police Department sent about 40 officers to help protect Minneapolis firefighters as they worked to put out the flames. People in Fargo, meanwhile, are making plans to march in support of family and friends of George Floyd. A Facebook post says the demonstrations will start on Saturday morning around 10 near the Fargo Civic Center. Organizers want the people of Minneapolis to know that the community stands with them in this time of crisis. Cass County still has the highest number of COVID-19 positive cases in the state. A recently formed Red River COVID-19 task force has been working on ways to address the climbing numbers.
The problem is that the majority of the testing now done in the state is in the Cass County area. We see as those numbers evolve, we're still down to the 4 to 5% rate right now of positive tests out of the testing that it's done.
Fargo's mayor adds that he's been talking with the governor's staff about letting more people into businesses. Restaurants may start opening up from 75 to 100% capacity. Another option is opening up county by county. North Dakota is reporting 17 new cases of COVID-19 in the state. 16 of those cases were in Cass County. They are also reporting 2 new deaths in Cass County linked to the illness. The death toll now sits at 56. The state of Minnesota is reporting 33 new deaths from the coronavirus, bringing the death toll to 932. 759 of those deaths happened in a nursing home or long-term care facility. The state is reporting another 510 cases today, bringing the active case count to 5,218. Over 16,000 people have recovered from the virus since the state started keeping record. The number of Americans killed by the coronavirus has passed the 100,000 mark. Just ahead on the Valley today, new predictions on the death toll that is still to come.